and we are here for our second and final budget hearing. Let's the record reflect. It is Monday, September 22nd, 2014. It is 6 o'clock. We will begin our city council about our budget, second hearing budget for the year 2014-2015. City clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Bien-Aimé,
Here.
Councilman Galvin.
Here.
Councilwoman Steril.
Here.
Councilwoman Keys.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance with Chief Burgess. Follow with the invocation with Mike McDermott.
As everybody rise and place your right hand over your heart and repeat collectively together, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, bless the members of this city council and staff and give them insight and courage in their deliberations for the betterment of all the people of the city. Amen.
Thank you. We have two items in the agenda. We're going to start with the first one, tab A. Mr. City Clerk, please read.
Tab A, and be patient because I have to read it in its
The whole
entirety.
thing,
A resolution of the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and the City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, adopting the final millage rate of 7.9336 mils for fiscal year 2014 through 2015, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Whereas the City of North Miami, Florida has considered an operating budget for fiscal year 2014 through 2015 in accordance with the provisions of Section 200.065 Florida Statute 214 and whereas the millage rate necessary to fund the city's operating budget for fiscal year 2014 through 2015 is 7.9336 mils, which is 9.49% more than the rollback rate of 7.1808 mils. And whereas, in accordance with Section 200.065, subsection 5, Florida Statutes 2014, as amended from time to time, a majority vote of the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and City Council is required to adopt a rate of up to 7.9336 mils. And whereas the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and City Council find that the adoption of the proposed final millage rate for fiscal year 2014 through 2015 is in the best interest of the city. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, Section 1, adoption of final millage rate. The Vice Mayor as acting mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida hereby adopt 7.9336 mils as the final millage rate on assessed property value necessary to fund the city's fiscal year 2014 through 2015 operating budget. Section 2, effective date. This resolution shall become effective immediately upon adoption, passed and adopted by a blank vote of the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, this blank day of September 2014.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is open on tab A. Public hearing is open on tab A. Public hearing is open on tab A. Public hearing is now closed.
Move approval of the resolution.
Seconded.
Second.
Mr. City Clerk, Roll call.
Motion made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Acting Mayor Bieneme. Mayor Bieneme.
Yes.
Councilman Galvin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sterriel.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Thank you very much. Tab B.
Tab B. An ordinance of the Vice Mayor's Acting Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, adopting and approving the budget of the City of North Miami for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2014, and ending September 30th, 2015, authorizing the amount to be raised by taxation for the operation of the city for the 2014 through 2015 fiscal year, authorizing the expenditure of funds established by the budget, authorizing a return on investment transfer from the Water and Sewer Utility Fund to the General Fund, authorizing the city manager to implement budget amendments, revenue and/or expenditure to appropriate or unappropriate funds as required during the fiscal year, and to amend the prior fiscal year budget to facilitate the year-end closing process, providing for repeal, severability, and an effective date. Whereas the budget of the City of North Miami, Florida City for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2014 and ending September 30th, 2015, attached hereto as Exhibit 1, was considered at public hearings held on September 10th, 2014 and September 22nd, 2014, as required by Chapter 200 Florida statutes, and whereas the Vice Mayor as Acting Mayor and City Council wish to approve the adopt the budget of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2014 and ending September 30th, 2015, and to authorize that this amount be raised by taxation for the operation of the city for the 2014 through 2015 fiscal year. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Vice Mayor as Acting Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, that Section 1, budget approved and adopted, the budget of the City of North Miami for the 2014-2015 fiscal year attached thereto as Exhibit 1 is hereby approved and adopted. Section 2, implement budget amendments. The city manager of the City of North Miami is hereby authorized to implement budget amendments, revenue and/or expenditure by resolution to appropriate or unappropriate funds as required during the fiscal year, and to amend the prior fiscal year budget by resolution to facilitate the year-end closing process. Section 3, expenditure of funds appropriated in the authorized budget. Funds appropriated to the various departments in the budget may be expended by the directors of each department by and with the approval of the city manager in accordance with the provisions of the city charter and applicable ordinances. Expenditures of funds, including but not limited to enterprise funds, internal service funds, and expendable trust funds under circumstances in which additional revenues are generated by user fees or charges to offset the cost of supplying a service to residents or other city departments, shall not be limited by estimated appropriations provided by actual revenue. And to that extent, the actual revenue received shall be deemed to be appropriated. Section 4, return on investment of water and sewer fund assets. The budget includes a transfer from the Water and Sewer Operation and Maintenance Fund to the General Fund, representing the return on investment that taxpayers would receive if the utility was sold. The transfer for the 2014-2015 fiscal year is calculated at 6.0% of fixed assets as of September 30th, 2012. This transfer may be made annually, but will not exceed 7.5% of the utility's net fixed assets. Section 5, checks. All checks on city bank accounts shall be signed by any member of the city council and the finance director. Section 6, amount of taxes. The approximate amount of $17,503,679.00 shall be the amount of gross taxes to be raised by the operating ad valorem tax levied authorized by resolution of the Vice Mayor as Acting Mayor and City Council. Section 7, authority of manager. The city manager is authorized and directed to execute and deliver any and all documents and instruments and to do and cause to be done any and all acts and things necessary or proper for carrying out the transactions contemplated by this ordinance. Section 8, repeal all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict or inconsistent are repealed. Section 9, severability. If any word, clause, phrase, sentence, paragraph, or section of this ordinance is held to be invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, such declaration of invalidity shall not affect any other word, clause, phrase, sentence, paragraph, or section of this ordinance. Section 10, effective date. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon passage on second reading, passed and adopted by a 4-0 vote of the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, on first reading this 10th day of September 2014, passed and adopted by a blank vote of the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, on second reading this blank day of September 2014.
Thank you very much. Remember last week on the first hearing, we had some amendments to the budget. And can someone give us an highlights about those changes?
Yes, Mayor. Last week, in the budget hearing, we did, by Councilman Galvin, we have allocated $100,000 for MOCA legal expenses. That money did come from unallocated funds from Biscayne Landing, amount of $100,000, and that is now in the attorney's budget. $50,000 was allocated to library books, e-books, and materials. That money was taken from the third-party maintenance agreement from Biscayne Landing out of non-departmental. Also, at Councilwoman Key's request, $27,000 was budgeted for Miami Herald advertisement for various meetings and everything. That money was taken from the recommendation of Councilwoman. We reduced travel in the budget to take care of that cost. We did remove 1 month, so now the mayor's salary is reflective of 1 month short, so 11 months also in the budget. And we did update the mayor's travel budget, but it's not the mayor, it's actually the 400 account, which is the mayor's, the office of the council. For the Miami League of Cities Gala, there was budgeted $828, but that amount was $1,500. All of those changes that were made, you guys do have some of the backup pages with the changes are on.
Okay, so since we already vote on those changes,
Yes, there's no
and you
problem.
said $100 from the money from MOCA is coming from where?
From the unallocated Biscayne Landing funds.
Okay, and the 50,000?
The 50,000 was coming from the third-party maintenance agreement for Biscayne Landing.
Okay, and the 27,000?
27 was removed from staff travel.
Okay. Okay, now public hearing is open on the 2014-2015 amended budget. Public hearing is open.
Richard Anise, 13030 Northeast 10th Avenue. I'm not sure if this is the time or if this was part of what was already figured, but is the water rate going to remain the same? Or did the study come back to make any kind of changes on second meters being charged the base rate, or duplexes being charged the second base rate when there's only 1 meter?
No, and that's a budget hearing. Unless that item was in the budget, I think we should address that tomorrow night, right? At the regular council meeting about that rate.
But
Mhm.
we did get the draft study, and we are looking at the numbers. It's not final, but I'll bring it.
Yeah, like tomorrow, because,
Well,
right?
it wouldn't be final by tomorrow. It would be final by the next.
But at least
council
you will
meeting.
have an update
Yes,
for
we will
him.
have an update by tomorrow. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, since I got a couple of minutes, I'm going to plead my case once again for the duplexes that have 1 meter with a second base charge. It's a totally illogical charge, because first of all, I could have you come out and put another meter in to say I'm going to put a tenant in my in the back, never connect to it, and you're going to move the second base charge off of my meter to that meter, and you're never gonna collect a dime. Secondly, I'm getting charged on a tiered rate, whereas if you had 2 meters there would be 2 tiered rates starting from the base, and there would be 2 base charges, and both meters would only be paying a lower rate when the water would be split to the 2 meters. So it doesn't make any sense to have a second base charge on 1 meter, and you have a tiered rate where I'm gonna pay the same amount of water no matter what's being used, whether I go to a higher rate or not, and I'm gonna be paying the same sanitation. You're not getting anything less for sanitation. So it's a totally illogical charge. It should have never been there that way. I don't know why it was done that way and changed a few years back when we shifted the way we build, and you had a minimum usage of 5,000 gallons, and then it went up, and then you changed to the tiered rate, and somehow you snuck in a second base charge for a single meter, which is just totally illogical. It doesn't make any sense. That's my case.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is open on the budget. Public hearing is open on the budget. Public hearing is now closed. Can I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the budget as proposed?
Second?
We have a motion from Councilman Galvin, seconded by Mayor Bieneme. Councilman
No,
Galvin.
no, no. We're gonna have discussion. I don't know if
I have a couple
Council,
questions.
a couple questions. Go ahead.
Please.
Yes.
First, Mr. Anise, thank you for coming. I would like to look at your bill and discuss that separately, as it's a little different issue, but I would like to meet with you. The rate study did come in a little bit late. We tried to push to get this months ago, but it's finally here. It isn't finalized, and I'm gonna ask the manager and our budget director if this is something we're supposed to be discussing this evening. In round numbers, to eliminate half that base rate is gonna cost us approximately $125,000. And we were getting, since it's not just automatically doubled for the entire rate, you were gonna get those figures for us. So I don't know if we're ready to really discuss the rates, but are we supposed to vote this evening in our budget for this, the second meter water rates, or are we gonna do this tomorrow night? Because it's not
What-
on the agenda.
Councilwoman Keys, whatever we're gonna add in the budget, we're gonna need a vote, but we always can do an amendment in the budget when we have
correct.
all the studies and
If
all
that's,
council members are okay and familiar with the subject, then we can
Right.
put it on the agenda and vote on it,
Right,
Is-
as I
from
said.
what I understand.
Point of clarification, as I said before, the rate study was only done on the second meters or the irrigation meter. We looked at all the numbers, and it's a draft report. The consultant is looking at a 25%, a 50%. We've requested also a 75% reduction on the base charges. That report has not been finalized, but one of the things I could tell you is, in looking at the draft report, there is not a straight line relationship. When I say a straight line, the 25% to 50%, 50 to 75 is not a direct straight line relationship. There's a difference in the impact, a fiscal impact. That is, 50% is equivalent to about 125,000, whereas maybe a 75% might run you all the way up to about 300,000, meaning it's not a direct or a straight line relationship.
okay. I was told 2 years ago we could not do anything with our water meter rates because we had our budget and we would have to wait for the next budget cycle. The budget cycle came up last year, and I was told we couldn't do anything because we had to have a rate study. We have our rate study. I know it's not complete, but I do not want to hear next week, if we don't do something tonight, that we have to wait another whole budget cycle.
No, we do not have to wait a whole budget cycle. We are talking about the utility fund. It's not your ad valorem, or it's not your your directly rated or general fund revenues we're talking about. It's a utility fund, and at any time, this council can vote on it to change or make a change on the rates.
Okay, I want to make sure because I don't
Is
want to
that
wait
correct,
another year.
City Attorney?
I just want to add that this will not affect, it does affect the revenues, not really the revenues, but if we did make a change to the base charge, basically what we would do, we would put that in for this year basically as a capital project, basically, at the expense of whatever the rate is that we're going to do, and we would take it out
No,
of the
we know we
reserves.
always can amend the budget.
Yes, we can
We
amend
just
the
want to
budget,
make
yes.
sure, and Councilwoman Keys said from what she heard in the past, after the budget, we couldn't and bring that up. We want to make sure, is it legal? Can we bring it back at any time?
Yeah, so I think one of the issues was based on SRS funds, because those funds were based on the rate study
Okay.
from the state. And so I think we have to look into exactly how that's going to impact the loan amounts that we received and whether it's going to impact it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Two more questions. Councilman Galvin requested an additional $100,000. We discussed legal fees, possible legal fees for MoCA. I'm hoping we don't have any further legal fees next year. I would like that the $100,000 set aside for legal fees be a line item strictly for MoCA legal expenses and not just the general legal fees.
That's
If-
when the 100,000, you don't want to add it to outside councils
Not,
in
not,
general, or you
not in
want
general, no.
you
if-
want the money to put aside for MoCA?
If we're not,
MoCA outside counsel.
Yes.
But that's what it says.
no, it's
No,
it's
we-
combined. Right now, it's
No.
combined, and I have requested
It's
that it be
combined, but
two-lined, that if we don't spend it from MoCA council, then it goes back to the
Back to
General.
general fund,
Yeah, we'll
not
make
to
the correction.
unallocated fund. That's where it's coming from.
right.
Okay,
Yes.
that's fine.
Okay.
And that's a friendly amendment, right? You want to
Yeah.
come up with
Sure, please.
that line?
And I'll accept
Okay.
that friendly amendment. If we settle with MoCA tomorrow,
Okay.
then the money goes back into the fund.
Okay.
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 And the
And
la-
we will vote separately
Okay.
on that
and
friendly
I have
amendment.
one last item. We have put into, and a lot of people have called me and questioned me on this. We have $250,000 set aside for the Biscayne Landing cleanup, and I'm willing to leave it in there, but I believe, okay, the contract is a year to year. Last year, the council just voted to go ahead and roll it over. I would be agreeable to put 250 in there now if we would go ahead and put out an RFP for this contract. It's a $250,000 contract. I'd like an RFP, and I'd also like the city to put a bid in for the same work. We've been discussing this for the last year, and I believe the city really can handle the same work for a lot less money. So I'm willing to put 250 in there, but I want it to be fair. I want it to go out again, and I want our city to maybe be able to do it in-house. That would
And
be an amendment.
okay,
I
that's
I
an
don't want to
amendment.
just renew a contract again.
And that's two separate issues. I think we need to vote on the budget, and the other part is for the regular city council. 250,000 will put aside for the Biscayne Landing, and I don't agree with Councilwoman Keys. Sometimes we need a watchdog when it comes to the government and the private sector. If we have a third party and make sure all our interests are protected, then I think it's better for the city. If you see the field that was there, and if it was not a third party, we won't discover that the field was contaminated. Then I don't agree that much with you, but that's not the subject for tonight. We're gonna vote on the $50,000 for the project. Then at another council meeting, we always can discuss what we wanna do with it.
Okay, thank you. Arthur, thank you very much. You did a very good job on this budget. Going over it, I've spent a lot of time with Mr. Story. You've made changes for me. I don't need to bore the public with my comments, so I have no further comments.
Thank you, and Councilwoman
Well, I wish
still. Scott, you already moved to up?
Well,
No,
I'll
for
ask you a
approval.
couple questions.
Oh, okay.
Thank
No,
you.
go ahead, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the city manager, who is our finance director right now?
We have the interim finance director, who was actually the assistant finance director, Carl Lafleur.
Carl
Carl Lafleur.
LaFleur?
No,
Okay.
Carl Lafleur.
Lafleur.
This is, that's the,
That's that guy standing up.
It's him. That's him.
All right, I just had no idea, and this, because of the unique circumstances with the resignation coming during the budget procedures, I had no idea who our finance director was, so, hi Carl, good to see you. I know who he is, but I didn't know that he was acting in that capacity, so I just wanted to ask, since it sort of crossed my mind, like, who's our finance director right now, so.
Right.
Yes.
So, and Carl was at my office just a couple weeks ago talking about some other things, so, okay, congratulations.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you asked. I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know,
No, I
that's the
didn't.
thing, I had no idea. It's a funny thing, you wanna know who your finance director is during the budget season. I was questioned this week about a water publication that arrived in mailboxes within the last couple of days. I learned through the afternoon that it cost us $7,000. It's nice, glossy, threefold, pages in between, publication talking about our water qualities and some other city information. I understand it cost us about $7,000, a little over $7,000. Where did that money come from? Is there a regulation that says it has to be that glossy? Can it be reduced to something else? And might we be, legal just to post it online, saving the entire expense?
Actually, no. Well, first is two parts to the question. Yes, it is required, and it's a compliance measure. As long as the city operates a water utility, we do have to send it out to all the water customers that we serve. That's an FDEP/EPA regulation that the city must comply with. That is the water quality report. It is also called a consumer confidence report that we send out to every one of the utility customers. Secondly, what we do is we combine it with the floodplain regulation. As part of the city's floodplain ordinance, we send out a mailer to everyone who lives in the floodplain. So what we're actually doing is killing two birds with one stone. We actually do two mailers that is mandated under the federal government, but we comply with two separate items under the EPA's ruling.
And is it necessary that it be full page, color, glossy?
This was compared to twice already by our public relations office. The difference in cost is like about $500. And if you look at other cities and what is sent out with other cities, we are comparable with what other utilities and other cities are sending out.
Okay, thank you. And it comes from our water and sewer utility fund?
And actually, right, the third part of your question is it's a combination of the two funds, where both of these funds are enterprise funds. One is from the stormwater utility, and the second is from the water and sewer utility.
Okay, thank you. My other question for the budget is very random, and if nobody knows the answer tonight in the room, I'll understand. There was a donation made by the family of Diane Hamer for the Keystone Park tot lot in memory of her son who passed, Bobby Hamer. There's a plaque there at the park that says in memory of Bobby Hamer. But several people asked me between first and second budget hearing, because we got to talking about Keystone tot lot improvements, was the Hamer family donation specifically made for tot lot improvements? Was there any verbiage in the agreement signed between the city and the Hamer family for what it would be used for? How much was it for? What was it spent on? I had no idea. So, anybody happen to know that?
It was specifically for the Keystone tot lot. I am positive of that. The amount I want to say was in a ballpark of maybe $20,000. And I know Mr. Coker would know exactly the amount. I'm not sure, but I think it was about $20,000. And it was to just do upgrades at the facility. I think we combined that with the money that we budgeted for Progress 2013 to work on the shade structures that's supposed to be installed out there,
Okay.
and that's where the money comes from.
Okay, thank you. Anybody who happens to come across any other detail on that, it's just a hot topic of conversation. I wanted to get it on the record right now that approximately $25,000 toward Keystone improvements. Sounds like it might have gone for the shade sails, which should be installed within 2 weeks, I'm hoping.
Yes, sir.
That's all the questions I had. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. City Manager, I discussed the governmental affair position with you, and I was under the impression that it was not in the budget, so the last time I didn't look at it, but when I was going through the budget, I see it's in there. Do you have a reason why? Because what we discussed is we have about 3 positions that one person was doing, which she did a marvelous job. I'm not assuming that she should stay doing all the 3 positions, but I understand she moved up as chief of staff, which I agreed. I think it's a good thing. But why is it that we still have the governmental affair when it seems like that she's gonna be doing the same thing?
Well, actually,
And a minute, and I don't think we can question person in the budget.
I'm not questioning the
can,
person, I'm questioning the position, why we
the
have 2
items.
positions. That's what I said, 2
Okay,
positions.
2 items on the budget.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Right. It's 2 separate positions, and what there's distinct.
It actually was 3 separate positions that one
Right.
person was doing, which we discussed, and it
Right.
was not fair. Go ahead.
There's what there it is actually we're going to separate the position because we're looking at having the grant writing as a separate, completely separate position that is going to come, and that's the reason why I left it in the budget.
But didn't you say that the different departments actually wrote their own grants? It's only supervised by the,
Yeah, but we still have monitoring requirements on the grants, and it's something that, we still have to monitor. We have several grants that we have applied for. Potentially, we are looking at getting the TAP grant, which is over 700,000. We have some FDEP and SRF funding as well. So we still need to.
if we actually, because I see that this position will cost us, okay, never mind.
Okay.
Okay, it's okay. My next question. The CRA. I see, except that if I don't understand, I see that different departments, there's a stipend from the CRA, like, I see in the line item say CRA on the public works and stipend 47,000. I was assuming that's a mistake, or I just don't understand it.
No, the CRA stipend is for services for the individual who helps with the CRA, does receive a stipend for. Remember, we got rid of the full-time employees. Basically, what that is the CRA will pay into to offset the cost. The CRA covers that extra stipend cost. That is not a cost to your general fund.
Okay, so but how do you guys come with? Because I know right now it's weird that it's the CRA and the city is 2 different
separate
entities, but
entities, yes.
we cannot talk about one not to fall into talk about the other one.
Yes.
But we have not voted on the CRA budget to know how we're gonna allocate the money. But yet again, the city voted on the money that the CRA has not given the city yet. So I don't know how, it's kind of like difficult what I'm saying, but yet again, we have to present it in a way that it's legal. So maybe the city attorney can help me. Because right now, we're voting on the city budget, and when I look at the line item, I see that I'm not discussing about what we put in there, but I'm feeling like it's kind of like have some kind of shady legalities going on that I don't understand. We have about $47,000 under Public Works, which does not says what it is, just says stipend, $47,000. And it says to different departments, just to name, even the finance department has, the director has a stipend, the assistant has a stipend from the CRA, and I'm not sure who voted on, when did we vote on that from the CRA for the city to claim it?
That will definitely be in the CRA budget discussion, and you're right, maybe it shouldn't have been placed in already, The CRA budget will be coming to you at the beginning of next month. At your CRA meeting, but right now, since we have no CRA staff in place, the general fund is, the employees of the city are performing the duties for the CRA at a stipend cost. Those same costs that we're doing now is what's reflected in the budget.
So my legal questions to you.
So if you can just,
We actually voted on money that the CRA did not give us. So we actually taking money from the CRA that didn't vote it to the city. For example, the $47,000 from from Public Works.
from the CRA budget.
As stipends. So what is stipends? $47,000. So, and I don't want to hear the commissioner come back through Scott telling me that I'm taking money from the CRA without a true line item. And we paying finance.
It's the stipend. The pay that you are referring to, is $3,500 for the thing.
What page?
But page 369 for Public Works.
369.
Yeah. And it's the stipend cost. It's separate. It's two separate entities. We did just back out the cost in there. What happens is when we have our payroll system, the payroll system cannot split the cost of an employee. Our system can't split the cost of an employee. So the regular cost, we have to fund the whole cost that we have in the balances will be off during the fiscal year. It'll be over budget. But what will happen from the CRA's end, the CRA will pay the city those stipend amounts. But your question is still valid. How can we put it in and we haven't voted on it
I
yet?
have 35. I have 47 on mine. 47,202.
Right above it,
Let me ask you,
you see right above
that's
it?
when I thought he was, I was checking, I thought he was for the secretary.
That's for the secretary, yes.
Yeah, but it's from the CRA.
Yeah, so what would happen
How
is
do I-
if, as the CRA board, you do not approve these expenses in your budget, then the city would have to make a budget amendment.
Okay,
Because
here-
it has to be the same.
But-
So it should have been, yeah.
I'm not comfortable about calling it a stipend in there. Because we cannot call it a stipend in the budget, the CRA budget, saying that a line item stipend to the city, CRA, $47,000. I'm sure we're not gonna have it that way in our CRA budget. So can we
That's when the
legally,
$47,202,
yeah,
we're gonna get it from the CIA to pay secretary for the city?
The 47,200 is for the secretary for Public Works.
Okay,
No,
you're getting
that-
the money from the CIA?
No.
That's too, I don't think, I
The
don't see
40
anything for the CIA stipend in
Above
here.
that line, above the 47,000,
Uh-huh.
it's minus $3,500.
okay,
You
so
see
yeah,
minus
3,500.
Yeah.
That's the stipend amount.
Yeah, the
What is the-
3,500. The
Yes.
47 is for the
The
secretary.
30, the
It's
47
not
is for
coming
the
from the
No.
CIA.
No,
No, it's not the CIA line.
we didn't
The
add
47,202 is for secretary.
So the
$3,500.
$3,500, that's the money we
We're
pick up from.
deducting $3,500 from our bottom line because we're saying the CRA is supposed to pay for that cost.
okay.
It's only
So-
3,500.
Okay. But it's,
But the point is still the same. Your
yeah.
point
Yeah,
is-
yeah, yeah.
Whether
It's
it's,
not-
whether it's 47,000
Yeah,
or
if it's a dollar,
3,500.
you
But-
cannot call it, I mean, I'm not saying that you can't, because either way, the legal ways of saying it or the finance way of saying it, it has to have a better wording of just saying stipend,
Okay.
because we cannot have stipend in our budget. So,
Okay.
you guys thinking
But
about
what
it?
we want to make
Like,
sure it's,
it's
yeah,
not
but-
47.
but-
I'm glad you bring that
but I
up,
think
because
we
thought it
already
was
vote,
47.
we already vote on the reorganization of the CIA and all the policies that we set
The
for the CIA.
reorganization of the
Now,
CRA and
in our
its-
budget, we're doing the adjustment because in order to pay him, in order to pay legal fees, that's when we already vote on that.
No, I don't have a problem with that, because we did that before. I mean, throughout the city life, I mean, the CRA life, that's what we
Throughout the-
do.
right,
We
that's
actually
correct.
take money, we used to do a code enforcement, we used to do a lot of different
The
things.
clean team is
But-
budgeted under the
I'm just-
CRA, right, all
Yeah,
of
I'm
that.
just not
So-
feel comfortable about
With the
calling
wording of
it a
stipend.
stipend.
So we
because
can
it's-
remove
But
the
it's-
stipend and
But
move
it's
that
everywhere
one.
in the budget. It's not only on
It's in
Public
a- in a
Works.
couple
No, that's what,
departments.
I just took one example. It's everywhere in
Oh,
the budget.
oh,
It's
So-
just like it's
okay.
not,
If you're comfortable, we just use CRA allocation.
maybe so.
CRA
Because I
allocation,
know
so we
that-
will change the stipend and for CRA allocation in the budget.
Okay, so, how much money in total that the CRA actually is giving to the city?
It's about $50,000 total.
Okay, so you guys have a good feel that the county will, support that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, great. The half cents, the tax,
Yes.
the distribution is not clear this year. Last year, or prior year, it used to say, like, if it's $200,000, for, I remember they used to distribute it different cities, each district has 50,000, or we know exact project, but this one, which,
I understand.
which page I should go in?
I
And
think
another
this-
thing that you guys have the divider with your, the different departments, I
Yeah.
do. I like the way that the city manager has it, so I have to go through, look all over the place to find mine.
And this year for the half cent, what we did do, we said, we didn't specify per district
What
or whatever. We were gonna do it, we were gonna make all the things based upon needs. And that's what we kinda got, as we felt this stuff was needed, we would do allocations and take care of projects as needed, throughout the whole city as a whole. So we didn't break it up by district.
Not even by project? We gotta just have the money sitting there and,
We're gonna identify the
then-
project
We'll
throughout
identify
the
the
year.
projects throughout the year, and we'll do them, based on needs and everything. So we did separate it by district, no ma'am.
okay, all right.
And one other thing to keep in mind, the half cent is, there's limitations on the funding and what
On
it can
what
be spent
need-
for.
yeah.
Sidewalks, street overlay, street repaving, so it's only those aspects we're
So,
gonna try to
okay,
do.
I think that you do have the list of item on there, you just don't allocate specific amount of money.
Right.
Okay.
So-
Mine, the sewer charge. I understand that it's from the county get the money. So how do they pay us back for maintenance of the line, the sewer line and all that?
From the county, we pay the county.
So do we pay the county, that was just a water bill question that I get, and
Okay.
then everything has came up. The city get all my money, and I was trying to explain to them that, no, the city actually, the money goes directly to the county.
Right.
So, but I was under the impression that the county take all the money, but yet again, we do all the work.
Right, there's two things.
Is that a percentage that we say, let's just simplify it.
About
Go ahead.
85%, roughly.
What is it?
About 85% of your water usage is what goes into your wastewater or your sanitary charges. Now, North Miami and most of the cities in Dade County own the collection system. When I say the collection, the sewer system, Miami-Dade County owns the treatment system, which is the wastewater treatment plant. So we have what is called a consecutive system. We own the lines and the pump stations, which we maintain, and we pump everything to Miami-Dade County. Miami-Dade County has their lines and the treatment plant. So we pay Miami-Dade County a wastewater treatment charge. It's a pass-through cost that we get from Miami-Dade County annually.
So how much, the 85%, that's the 85% that we actually pay the county?
Right. Well, 85%
From
of your
what-
water,
From the 100% that we get?
no, 85% of your water usage is what is your wastewater charges.
Yeah, but how much do we pay the county? What's the percentage of what we collect?
Every year the rates actually change. You have it here? 650, yeah. It's in the book, I'm getting it for you.
Okay. While you're looking, can I ask my next question?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, here,
What page?
page 487. You see Miami-Dade County sewer disposal permit and sewer disposal fees. There's two rates. There's the dry season or the dry period, which we pay $2.24 per 1,000 gallon. And the wet season rates. See, is that it? Average, yeah. So,
What is it?
yeah.
Yeah, the rate is the 224 per 1,000 gallons, on page 487. And that's the money that we pay to Dade County. Underneath it, at the end, and these are just estimated amounts of what the bill is gonna be based on the prior year. Miami-Dade County comes back after the fact and tells us what our true cost was. Sometimes they owe us money, sometimes we owe them additional money, and that's why we have a true-up cost there, an amount of $500,000. But that's the money we do pay the county for our sewage.
So the money that we actually charge the customers, we actually pay the county more than what we're collecting? Is that what I'm hearing?
No. It's a pass-through cost. Whatsoever the county charges.
But what I'm hearing is that we actually have to throw up whatever that we didn't collect.
No, the true-up is a number that the county has. At the beginning of the year, there's a proposed rate. If the rate falls under that proposed rate, then there's a true-up charge. If if the city gets back the money at the end of the year, then it is allocated to the prior year allocation.
Okay. I'll talk to you
You
guys
could-
later
yeah.
about it. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm still not there yet. Billboards.
Okay.
So this has been, the contract is for, we had that contract for what, 10 years now?
I believe the contract has been like 6 or 7 years now.
Okay.
The contract's a 20-year contract.
I know I did ask the previous manager regarding what is it, are we just stagnant with the price, how much they have been giving us for the past years? Are they making more money and we making the same amount? Have you guys ever think about?
Our constant revenue stream from the billboards every year annually is about $302,000.
I know that for the past.
As far as, for the past every year.
Yeah.
I think in the contract it said maybe we can, no, I don't think we could even change it. We're locked in for 20 years,
With the same rate.
same rate.
So you guys have been in contact with the billboard people or?
They send us our checks every month, and that's it. We can reach out to them if you'd like. I know that might have been, I know Mr. Johnson did ask me about the contract, and I did forward him the contract. I got the contract and sent it to him. But it was a 20-year contract. I'm positive of that number at the rate.
Okay.
Now, if we can look into it and call them, and
That
I
would
don't know
be-
why they
that-
would
I
want
mean,
to
that would be
renegotiate.
That would be nice.
'Cause I'm
because
sure they're
if they're
making more money than that now.
More money than how they started, I don't understand why we, if the city attorney is the only one that can actually help us to see what's the legalities on that and how good of a partner they have been. And the city need more money for capital improvement, so why not try to collect wherever that we can?
Okay.
Don't you guys agree? No,
I
everybody's so
voted
silent.
against it years ago. You can take all
So-
those billboards down, in my opinion.
Hey, it's not about voting against or not. Well, I'm saying that if we can make a little bit more money for capital improvement, I would love to see that happen. At least start talking, okay? Maybe next council meeting, not tomorrow, but bring us some
Not
updates of
talking.
what's going
First,
on.
we need to review the contract, the
I think,
agreement,
yeah.
and see.
No, that's what I said.
what
Next
the
council meeting, give us
options
an
are.
update. I'm not trying to say what they have to do. Just give me an update to bring it before us again, and then start, between the city attorney and the city manager, see how we can actually renegotiate or where we can go from there.
Or revoke.
Well, hey, whatever that's possible.
Okay.
Okay? Because we have a contract with them, so we can't go out of nowhere says we're gonna, discontinue the contract.
Well, I think
My final question, what is it?
I said contracts were meant to be broken.
Well, hey, that's depend on how, if it's, I don't wanna go into that
Spoken like a
detail.
true lawyer, Carol.
Audit.
yes.
Throughout I think most of the departments has allocation for audit. Is it at the end, it's the same audit, one audit, but every department actually contribute, or is it different?
Every fund contributes to the audit, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I was wondering, is every department have a standalone audit? Thank you, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
job, guys.
Thank you very
Good
much.
night, everybody.
And
So, Mayor, we have a little easy thing we can fix. We did have a previous motion before the amendments made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by you. And here's the amendment since the motion. The first amendment was made by Councilwoman Keys, where the $100,000 outside attorney funds must be a line item fund for MOCA outside counselor only. If funds are not used, funds shall be placed into the general funds. That was the first amendment. The second amendment was made by Councilwoman Steril, where she wanted the term, well, I'm gonna read it verbatim here, change the word stipend to CRA allocation whenever the funds are coming from the CRA. So I guess my question is, would the council member still make the motion and mayor still second the motion with these amendments?
I second. Can you?
I certainly accept the friendly amendments as made.
And I seconded
Very
with
good.
the amendment. Now roll call, please.
Mayor Bieneme,
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys,
Yes.
Councilwoman Steril,
Yes.
Councilman Galvin.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there
Good luck.
second? Thank you very much.
Move to adjourn?
We did.
Philip, 2 seconds.
Yes.
No, I need to give a palabra for 2 seconds.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.